Welcome to the Real Film Nerds Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to this very spacey episode of the Real Film Nerds Podcast. Episode number 234?
24, right?
Shit. I know it's one of them. 224. Okay, I don't know. I didn't look. I've been too busy, Mike. I'm sorry. My name is Matt, one of your dose hosts. With me, as always, Mysterious Mike Talent.
Hey, everybody.
So, Mike, why did you pick this movie?
Well, dude, you know I like space things, and I thought this would be a lot of fun to watch. I didn't realize exactly what it was all about or anything, man. I just kind of went on space. And maybe that was not the best idea, but we can talk about it.
All right, so Mike, what is this movie? We are reviewing the Netflix original starring Anna Kendrick, and I'm forgetting her name. Let me click on the thingy.
Toni Collette.
Toni Collette, with a weird accent. Stowaway. So go ahead, Mike, since I listed off half the cast, why don't you give us the rundown for the rest of Stowaway?
Sure, Matt. So Matt's right. The cast for this is only 4 people. So this movie is Stowaway, and it was directed by Joe Pena and written by Joe Pena and Ryan Morrison. That's starring Andrew Kendrick, Daniel Day Kim, Shamir Anderson, and Toni Collette. And it's about a 3-person crew on a mission to Mars faces an impossible choice when an unplanned passenger jeopardizes the lives of everyone on board.
All right, Mike. So we have a new giveaway. Should we do it
sweet.
now, or should we do it later?
Well, let's do it now, dude. Do it now.
Okay. So from our good friends over at Paramount Pictures, they hit us up again. We have a new film that we're going to give away. The film is called Gully. Now on digital, Gully is the powerful and explosive crime story of 3 boyhood friends who find their escape from LA's tough streets in one out-of-control night of partying. But when the rampage stops, retribution begins. It is directed by Namil Eldrikin. Gully stars Kelvin Harrison Jr., Charlie Plummer, Jacob Lattimore, Jonathan Majors, Amber Heard, and Academy Award nominee Terrence Howard. Buy or rent Gully and watch it tonight. The movie is rated R, and again, it is from our friends over at Paramount Pictures. So here's a little bit of trivia and information that we have also. It is acclaimed music video director Nabil Eldrikin makes his feature film debut with this movie, and it's featuring a cameo of rapper Travis Scott.
Oh, okay, cool.
It is a powerful crime thriller circling 3 boys growing up in one of LA's toughest neighborhoods who seek revenge on those who wrong them.
Well, you know I like a good revenge movie, Matt, so I'm down to watch this.
Good. I was waiting for you to chime in because I figured that's your kind of flick, Mike. I know you love the revenge.
I do love the revenge movies, and then the night of partying, that sounds kind of fun. I don't know. It could be interesting.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be worth a watch. I mean, dude, Terrence Howard, man. Terrence Howard is amazing, incredible actor.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be fun, Matt. You know I love revenge movies, so I'm down.
Amber Heard is also in it. You know, she's from Aquaman 1 and 2, the upcoming 2.
Yeah, she's in a few movies with, didn't she date Johnny Depp? And they were in that one movie where they were in Cuba or somewhere. I don't remember what the movie was about. Was it?
Dude, was that the one that I watched over at your house, the Rum Diaries?
Rum Diaries, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I watched that when I was out visiting you. You kept falling asleep because you're an old man.
Yeah, that's me.
And then, let's see, Jonathan Majors, who's famously from White Boy Rick, another film we reviewed on the pod.
Ah, yes, White Boy Rick. I watched a documentary about that on Netflix recently. Man, that is a weird story.
I saw that. Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to watch that. So, dude, I mean, this sounds like a great movie. I wish I could watch it, but, you know, they're giving it to us to give away. So if you would like to enter to win a digital copy of this brand new film, what you need to do, Mike. What do they need to do?
We've been watching a lot of sci-fi movies, and we're feeling real sci-fi kind of right now. So if you could just send us an email with your favorite sci-fi movie, and we'll get you entered, and hopefully you win.
Yeah, we will email you the winners. We will email you the codes. So make sure and get your entries in. Our email, you can send it to anyone. We got 3 of them. You can email Mike at realfilmnerds.com. You can email Matt at realfilmnerds.com. Or you can just email the email that goes to both of us, which is nerds at realfilmnerds.com. Funny how we call ourselves nerds, Mike. You remember when that was a bad term?
I do. I remember when that was like very kind of mean, and now we love it. Like it's like our, I don't know, badge or something. I don't know.
I feel that we have been nerds pretty much most of our life because we are both passionate about several different things. Like, technically, Mike, you're a scuba nerd because you're extremely passionate about scuba. I'm a photography nerd because I'm technically passionate about photography. I even made it my career. So it's interesting how we were shamed growing up, and now it is a badge of honor.
Yeah, that is interesting. I don't know. What do you say, man? What do you say? It just, things change as we get older, and it seems like the society is, I don't know, glorifying nerds now. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know if it's acceptance or glorifying or making money, maybe a combination of all of them. But anyways, I'll get us back on topic. Mike, this week we're talking about Stowaway. It is a pretty much like an independent film. I mean, there's 4 people in it. It shot well, acted well. I'll be honest, I don't fall asleep during movies often, really at all. I mean, even though I'm exhausted, if I even had 3 hours of sleep, I typically won't fall asleep in the middle of a movie. Mike, I fell asleep during this movie twice, and I was watching it during the day.
Oh, man, Matt, that's quite the statement. I've fallen asleep in my fair share of movies, as you well know, Matt, and you even mentioned here just earlier a few minutes ago. But I did not fall asleep in this movie, but I definitely understand what you're talking about, man. It is kind of slow, and there's lots of boring parts.
It is extremely slow, extremely boring, and it is almost 2 hours long.
I don't know what all this extreme is about, but it is a longer movie. It is at 2 hours, and they could have probably done it in an hour and a half, but anyway, man, I don't know. I liked certain aspects of this movie. I like some of the questions that it was kind of asking, and then I think this is somewhat of a realistic view of how tough it's going to be to get to Mars. And so I don't know. I looked at it through that lens, so I was a little skewed, I guess.
Well, Mike, I don't think it was horrible. The concepts were good. There was a lot of fascinating, interesting things, a lot of topics that were broached. We can get into it more when we're in spoilers. I feel they dropped the ball with the ending. Definitely. I felt it was way too long, and they could have cut out some of the boring parts. And I think they really could have worked on a little bit more of, let's say, the corporate overlord aspects of the film that they really were stressing until the end of the movie that unravels everything. But we can get that into the spoiler world.
All right. Yeah, I could see some of your points there, Matt, but I also was a little disappointed with the ending. So much build up for just really?
Hey, no spoilers, Mike. Okay, good job. Got it. All right. Okay, so we're plugging along here. We both are having difficulties discussing the main talking points of this movie without spoiling it. For those of you who do want to watch it, Mike, I'll go ahead and do this. I don't recommend you waste your time watching this film.
Oh, wow. You're just going right into it.
Yep.
Okay, man. All right. I like this movie, but I'm kind of a space nerd, as we were talking about nerds. and I liked some of the concepts in the movie, and I thought what they did with space stuff was fairly well done. There's not a ton of space special effects, but they didn't need it for this movie, and they explained why, and that was fine. So if you're a space nerd, go for it. Now, I guess with that, Matt, we can. I think we can get into this part of the show where I ask you, what are you drinking this evening, Matt?
Well, Mike, if I was going to space, I would definitely make sure I'm bringing a bunch of beers with me. That's for sure. That would be my weight. It wouldn't be a Yale mug. It would be beers. I'm drinking a new one from my favorite brewery in Arizona, probably my favorite brewery ever, Four Peaks. This is called Desert Day Drinker, and it's only sold in cans, and it is a American lager. American lager. It is Desert Day Drinker. Jeez, the triple D's are messing me up. I'm only used to double. Desert Day Drinker is brewed for the hikers, the golfers, the tailgaters, the lake trippers, the pool partiers, the backyard barbecuers. It's brewed for those who understand that life goes down in the daytime, and so should a good beer. Love it. That's a great slogan.
Yeah, no, that's a good slogan, yeah.
All right, I say it every week, so I'm not going to say it this week. Mike, what not IPA are you drinking today?
I am not drinking an IPA today, Matt. I am drinking a Leinenkugel Summer Shandy, with the season, just something light, refreshing.
Wow, we both are drinking summer brews. Nice. We didn't even plan this out. We don't even really talk to each other other than the podcast.
It's true. I don't have time for you.
Starting to sound like my girlfriend again, Mike.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm not even going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Moving on.
That makes you and her, too. Go ahead. You can laugh into the mic. I see you losing it over there.
you just can't. God. All right.
Okay,
yeah, you got me good on that one, Matt. So I think we're in the spoiler zone, Matt.
Oh no, we're not there yet, Mike. I have something very important to ask you. Involving possibly my future ex-wife, Scarlett Johansson. Mike, how does the Netflix Original Stowaway relate to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
All right, so this one is a little bit tougher because the cast of this movie is 4 people. Of those 4 people, none of them are in the MCU. But there was a makeup artist who worked on this movie and worked on Doctor Strange. And the makeup artist's name is... I'm going to screw this up, Matt. Nadia Homery? Homery? Yeah, I think it's Nadia Homery. So,
all right, I'll allow it. It sounds right. I don't have it in front of me, so I'll go with it.
Yeah, I'm, me and names. But anyway, yeah, so the streak continues, man. Just MCU to everything. There's just so many movies, and each year there's just going to be more and more. So we can keep this thing going forever, man.
Dude, I honestly thought you were shit out of luck on this one. With this small of a cast, there's probably not much of a crew. I was like, if he's getting it, it's going to be the crew.
Oh, yeah, no. I had to dig a little deeper, yep.
All right, Mike, so let's go ahead. Let's spoil this bad boy. Go for it.
All right, Matt, so this movie is all about getting to Mars. It's I actually really like the way it starts with the countdown to the launch, and then just shows them, going through the atmosphere and stuff. I thought that was great. I thought that was a great way to start the movie. But the ending, I really wanted to see at least if they made it. That's at least that.
And who made it at the bare minimum?
Yeah. And that would have been nice. But I don't know. Like that was disappointing, and like I don't know. It was slow. It was slow, and Matt, what you said? Toni Collette had a weird accent. That's a real accent. It's Australian. She's from Australia.
It did not sound like her at all. That was very freaking weird to me.
That's
weird.
Her real accent. Yeah,
that's so strange. That's how many movies she does an American accent in.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, have you ever heard Colin Farrell talk? Like, if he's not like for a role, like his Irish, it's super, super thick.
Oh yeah, dude, he has a wickedly thick Irish accent. I mean, very thick. Yeah, that I have to say, Toni Collette's Australian accent then is probably the most strong Australian accent I've ever heard in my life. It was pretty freaking ruthless. So, all right, Mike, here. Since we're in spoilers, I am going to really get into it for you. So you remember how I was talking about this has echoes of corporate overtones and not giving a shit about people and things like that?
Yeah.
They really delivered on that. So think about it. The only voices you ever hear in the film are our four main characters. Even when they're talking to home base or Houston or whoever it is, you never hear the other side. You only hear the people in the capsule. They don't care about this guy being stuck in the rocket. They didn't care enough to check to make sure it was clear and ready to go, because how do you not miss that amount of weight? All they cared about was money and getting there. And for at the very end, for Anna Kendrick's character to be sitting there and saying, oh, well, I did this for the love of it, or the greatest adventure of my life, or whatever the hell the two sentences she said, which she said earlier, throws it all out the window. Because it's like he's trying to tell you that all this corporate overtaking, all they give a shit about is money and finances and success and all this stuff. They don't give a shit about the people actually doing the mission. And then she takes it all back with those two lines at the end of the movie and just ruins the whole movie.
Oh, all right. I
do you not see it that way?
No, I didn't see it that way at all. But yeah, I do see that the corporate overtones, like it kind of reminded me of, Alien, where there's this company. Oh, I can't remember the company's name right now, but there's the company that's always dictating whether, you should do something or whatever. And it always is like, oh, you should go get the alien. You should go do this and whatever. And they're like, yeah, it's going to risk the crew. And they're like, the crew doesn't matter. Go get it. Like,
yeah, it's very reminiscent of Aliens. Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh man, I wish I could think of the corporation's name. I feel bad.
It's the name of the dude. It's the last name of the dude. It starts with a W. I don't remember the name of it either.
Weiland.
There you go. Yeah,
I think
it's the last name of the dude that founded the whole thing. They had that Alien versus Predator where he dies. Yeah, and that's his last name, which takes place long before the original Aliens. And I don't know. It gets really confusing. The whole world gets very confusing, much like a lot of those. So, all right, Mike. Well, I mean, other than that, I thought it was well acted. I don't like how it kind of turned into like a big time. Oh, what's the word? I mean, drama. Yes, it was a drama, but it becomes like very melodramatic. Like, are we going to tell this guy? Are we going to kill him? No, we're not going to kill him. Here, kill yourself. It's just.
Well, I mean, if you put yourself in the shoes of those people, Matt, that would be an awful decision to try and figure out. It's like, do we shed the weight? Or do we all die? And how do we go about doing this? And then how do we tell this person, hey, sorry about your bum-like thing. We got to throw you out into space.
See, being my size, I would immediately be elected to be the first one out the airlock.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know if that would be, well, maybe. I don't know.
See? Yeah, it's a factor. You know it. Now you're thinking about it. You're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, we wouldn't even think twice. We wouldn't even give you a seat. We'd just shove you in there and open the door. It'd be like Event Horizon.
Oh, jeez. Baby bear.
God, dude, I love that movie. That's a great sci-fi movie, sci-fi horror movie.
Oh, man, is that a great sci-fi horror movie. It scared the crap out of me when we were younger, man. I was like, I had dreams about some of that stuff. It's super creepy.
Dude, I still do.
The green circuit board scene,
Yeah.
that really bothered me, dude.
Yep.
This is really well done.
And Mike, what Real Film Nerds podcast episode is that? Because I don't remember. I know we did it for Harvest Horror Fest, and I know it was my pick. I just don't remember when it was. I think it was two seasons ago.
Yeah, I would have to look, Matt. I honestly can't remember.
Dude, we might not have even been into triple digits by then, honestly. I don't know. I don't remember. So,
Yeah, but that's a wonderful, crazy, basically a haunted house movie, but in space.
yeah. Haunted spaceship. Yeah.
Yeah, haunted spaceship.
So, Mike, I have to say, I think the second half of this movie was much better. No, I don't know. Maybe the first half was better. The build up and the discussion and the tension. I wasn't super keen about the artificial gravity thing and spinning around. I didn't understand how they're using this like thing to pull themselves out to like the sun thing, and then why is there liquid oxygen on the other side of this thing? And I don't know.
Well, I mean, Matt, LOX, liquid oxygen, is often used as a rocket propellant. Now, why would there be a lot left over on the rocket? Maybe for when they're landing back in Mars? Because I could only assume the reason that they still had that big booster with them was for the landing back at Mars.
So why would they take their fuel that would slow them down? Because then they're just going to die when they get to Mars in a high-speed crash with the planet.
Dude, I'm not 100% sure why they... I don't know, Matt. I'm not 100% sure on why, but essentially they would need to be able to get onto Mars and then theoretically fly back. So I don't know if they had to try and bring fuel for all of that.
Well, but they also said it was a colony that was on Mars. It wasn't just they were going to Mars. It was a colony.
Yes. I do believe that we were starting to colonize Mars, and they were going to be there for some research and stuff, and then they were going to come back.
So maybe because they talk about it, how he's doing all these experiments. The one gentleman, I mean, that must have been fun until, you find out there's a stowaway. Daniel Day Kim's character, David Kim, talks about how he's doing experiments with like algae and clearly vegetation and things like that to help produce oxygen and remove CO2, because that's one of the strategies they use to try and live on find out when they have 4 people and they should have only had 3. And she was like, well, what about so-and-so? I don't remember exactly what Toni Collette's character was talking about. But what about so-and-so and blah, blah, blah? And he's like, oh, well, it's already at the colony. And so clearly they have supplies and other things at the colony. Maybe they have liquid oxygen or a form of propellant to get them back out of Mars atmosphere and headed back home. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one of the things that I questioned on this is, and obviously this is a corporation and it's not NASA or whatever, but usually there's a lot of redundancy for things, and I feel like this East, like whatever the piece of the life support thing that broke, I feel like they would have had an extra one of something, or like usually there seems to be a lot of redundancy, but as you pointed out, Matt, since this was like a corporate thing and it sounded like this thing was actually designed for 2 people and they were pushing it to 3, and then now with 4 people, there's like no way in heck they could do it. It did seem like it was about trying to squeeze every dollar or whatever out of the thing. So I don't know if this was kind of a shot at corporations and the way they try and run things, or I don't know.
Dude, that's what I'm thinking the whole movie was about until those last two frickin' sentences. Because again, as you pointed out, NASA learned their lesson many times over that they have multiple redundant systems in case shit goes wrong. Because much like my life, if shit goes wrong, it's always at the most inopportune moment. So of course it's going to be when they're in space.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be failures and stuff, but unlike when you're on Earth or whatever, and there's, you can go to the store or whatever, you can figure stuff out. When you're in space, no one can hear you scream. I just had to throw that in there.
Of course you did, Mike. Okay, so speaking about screaming, Mike, how many reels do you give Stowaway?
I'm going to give it a solid 3 reels because I am a space nerd and I did enjoy the story for the most part. It is kind of slow, and I understand, Matt, why you didn't like it and fell asleep twice.
Yeah, and I wasn't even drinking.
I know. I mean, it was the daytime, so I figured you were just taking a little nib here and there, but
yeah, just a little pop, a shot here and there. No biggie.
Yeah, like just some coffee, Jim Beam. Jameson.
Does it still count as coffee if it's just pure Jim Beam in a coffee cup?
I think it does.
Okay, good. Then
as long as you warmed it up.
Breakfast of Champions then. Breakfast of Champions for me. Well, Mike, I enjoy space quite a bit as well. Not as much as you. I would have loved to go to space in my lifetime. I don't think it's ever going to happen. But, I did a lot of astronomy when I was in the Boy Scouts. Loved it. Been to, not astronomies, but see, I can't even think of the name. That's how much I love space. The places with the telescopes. I can't even think of it.
I can't think of it either.
Oh no, Mike, no. Observatories. Yes, Arizona. Believe it or not, Arizona has several observatories, and I've been to a few of them. They're scattered across Arizona because of our vast swaths of nothingness on top of having quite a few tall mountains.
And no weather ever.
That's
so
true.
There's never any clouds.
Right. Not compared to the rest of the country, that's for sure. So I love space as well, Mike, but again, I think not as much as you. Like I said, I enjoyed the concept. I liked a lot of the things they were trying to talk about, especially the corporate overlord tones, getting into space and all these other things. But I still think this movie could have been a lot better and definitely a lot shorter. So I'm not a hater. I'm not real bad like you. I'm not going to, be like, oh, half a reel. No, I'm not that bad. So I think I rated it fair because of the things they brought to the table, but I still think it could have been better. I give it a 2.
Okay. All right, Matt. That's fine. 2 reels. I see. That's all right.
All right, Mike. So what are we doing for next week?
Man, I am not sure. I had not figured out. This was my pick, so I think this is up to you, man. What do you want to watch?
You're damn right, Mike. It's up to me.
F9?
F9. Woo! Except for it's not out for a couple more weeks. I was looking. I was looking yesterday trying to figure out what was coming out in the theaters. There's nothing but crap. There's that new Conjuring that knocked A Quiet Place 2 out of first place in the box office. I don't really care about watching it. It is on HBO Max. I found an interesting movie that came out last year. It's floated under the radar. I think we're going to have a lot of these. It just now also hit HBO Max. It is called Kajillionaire.
Kajillionaire?
Yes. Do you know anything about this movie, Mike?
No, I know nothing about
this. Oh, this is going to be fun. So Kajillionaire is an indie type movie. It has some well-known actors in it. It was nominated for Sundance Film Festival and a bunch of other ones. But again, like I said, it was COVID world. It did come out in the theaters. I think it came out in September, October of 2020. So, but yeah, no one was still going to the theaters then. So here you go, Mike. Here is the synopsis. This is just for you and our listeners, of course. A woman's life is turned upside down when her criminal parents invite an outsider to join them on a major heist they're planning. That's actually not very accurate for this movie. It is a comedy drama, and yes, it is about a heist, but her parents, it's about a whole family that are con artists, and she was raised to be a con artist, and it stars Evan Rachel Wood as the daughter, Richard Jenkins is the father, and Deborah Winger is the mother. How freaking awesome is that cast?
It's pretty good, man. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. It just came out last week on HBO Max. So if those of you who want to watch it with us and have HBO Max, hop on there. We're going to be talking about that next week. I'm excited. I think it'll be fun. It got some good reviews. It wasn't nominated for anything, but it'll be definitely a unique film and a contrast to our usual sci-fi and horror flicks.
All right, man. All right. Sounds good to me. Good to me.
Wow, did you just burp in the middle of talking to me and you didn't even think to pull away from the mic, Mike? Jesus.
I did, but I couldn't do it. Couldn't figure out how to figure it out.
Now, if you ever fart and we hear it on the podcast, then we have a serious problem.
All right. I'll try and keep it to a minimum.
God, speaking about farts, have you ever farted and woke yourself up?
I don't think so. I don't think I have.
No? So, all right. I've done it a couple different ways.
Wow. All right.
There's the noise, which is that's the better one to wake up to, believe me. You wake up and you're just like, what the? Oh. The bad one is the smell, because you can't go back to sleep.
You've woken up off the smell.
You've never done that? Really?
No, man. No.
Oh, dude, I've farted so stinky that even with the covers on and everything, it still wafted up, eventually waking me up. It was awful.
No, I haven't done that, but I will.
I'm sure you've woken up Mags that way, though. Go ask and report back for the next pod.
All right, I will do that.
I know. That was a little too far, but it was pretty funny. I'm still kind of crying over it. That's pretty funny.
That was pretty funny. All right, Matt. Well, I guess it's good to end on a funny note.
Don't forget to enter our contest.
Yeah. Like Matt said, you can email us at nerds@realfilmnerds, Mike @realfilmnerds, or Matt @realfilmnerds. And tell us about your favorite sci-fi movie. And we'll get you entered, and we'll let you know if you win. Other than that, thanks for listening, everybody. Make sure to follow us on our socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or the Gram, as people call it, I guess.
That's what the kids call it.
Oh, okay. All right. That's what the kids call it. All right.
Yeah.
And then thanks for listening, everybody, and go out there and stream or watch movies at the theater. And, keep listening to us. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to The Real Film Nerds. Now, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Real Film Nerds. Now, go out and catch a movie.
That's Olivia Rodrigo, Deja Vu, demanded by Stacy when she came to pick up her gift certificate to El Gato Azul. This morning on Magic 99.1, she won it playing trivia. The On-Demand Hour, by the way, is brought to you by the Yavapai Humane Society, where every animal counts. Speaking of animals,
What? I'm an animal now?
Matt Hinshaw from the Real Film Nerds podcast in studio with me this morning. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing wonderful, Lisa.
Good. Don't take offense. That was called a segue, and I learned that in college. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad one of us learned something. So what kind of animal am I then?
You are a bear.
I'm a bear?
You're a bear.
I was going to go with dinosaur.
Oh. As long as you don't call me a dinosaur, we're A-okay.
Awesome.
All right. We're talking about Stowaway this morning. You saw it on Netflix. What'd you think?
Hard pass.
Okay, done. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Lisa,
Drop that
have a good
mic. Hard pass. Not good.
It was very, very, very boring. The concepts are interesting.
Okay.
But I don't fall asleep during movies ever.
I always do. That's why I don't watch them.
I fell asleep twice during this one when I was trying to watch it.
Okay.
It's an interesting sci-fi film. The concepts are great. It's more of almost an independent film. There's 4 people in the movie total.
Okay.
You don't hear voices from anyone else. It's just these 4.
Right.
It's about a mission to Mars at this point in time in the future. It is large corporations sending people to Mars. Sound familiar?
Yeah, for sure.
And they did not check the spaceship real well after launch. And a guy who was a maintenance person that was getting stuff ready fell and knocked his head and passed out. And by the time he woke up and they realized he was
in
there,
space travel.
They're halfway to Mars. Yep. Okay. So it's really interesting, and the choices they have to make and what's going on. And because they're pushing the limits, having 3 people in the capsule.
Right.
Now they have 4.
Right.
How much food? It's a mission to Mars, so it's 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
So
he didn't even say goodbye to his family.
No.
His family wonders where he is. I see it now.
Right. His
Very
sister,
stressful.
like he's the guardian of his younger sister because his parents passed and all this other stuff. And so now she's home completely alone for the next 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
It's interesting. So that's what I'm saying. It has wonderful concepts, but it really dragged. It's almost 2 hours, and it's just,
Yeah. It's a hard pass.
Yeah.
That's fair. How many reels are you going to give it?
I give it 2, and that's being generous.
2 out of 5 reels. Yeah, people are agreeing with you. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 77. That's about a C. IMDb 5.6 and Metacritic 63%. So yeah, you're right there in the same range with them.
It has a lot of potential,
right?
But they just didn't execute it well.
Fell short. Okay, I won't watch it. What are we going to watch next week?
So next week is my pick. This is a movie that came out last year in the theaters, but no one went and saw it.
Okay,
because of COVID. And it was also an independent, so it kind of slid under the radar a little bit.
Sure.
It is called Kajillionaire, and it just came out on HBO Max.
Kajillionaire. Who's in it? Do you know?
So it's Rachel Wood plays the daughter, and then I'm forgetting the name of the father and the mother, but it's basically a family of con artists that have been con artists forever.
Okay.
They've worked together, and they have this huge con coming, and they bring in a 4th person.
Yeah.
And it throws the family dynamic completely out of whack.
Okay.
And
Kajillionaire.
It's a comedy drama. The trailers look great. I think it'll be fun. Again, it slid kind of under the radar, but just hit HBO Max last week, I think. So
Perfect. We'll look forward to seeing what you think. Check out Matt's podcast. It's called The Real Film Nerds. As always, Matt, thanks for joining me.
Lisa, thank you. As always, young lady.
You're welcome, young man.